Episode 88. Michael Irvin. That's a good one.
Belle Meade, aged to perfection. Sour mash, whiskey, straight, bourbon. So many words on the front of this label. Nelson Greenbrier Distillery. All right, let's take a look.
I went to my second tier place because,
Yes.
daily travels and it's not bad pop. And this is the most unrecognizable of their kind of like shelf of where I frequent.
Sure.
And the owner, he's like, I don't know, man. You could take a shot. I would say it's probably similar to like Buffalo Trace because that's what he had it right next to. I was like, okay, we'll see.
Long story on the back. It's pre-prohibition brand, which is kind of nice. I take that as meaning that it's no longer a pre-prohibition like recipe or ownership necessarily, but the brand has been around for quite a while. Okay. Aged 6 to 8 years, never chill filtered, 90.4 proof. Bourbon reaches a sweet spot, baby, that balances rich, spicy flavor and delivers a depth of character unlike anything you've ever tasted. All right, so
what's up, Doovie?
Start with that.
Hey, buddy.
Dooves is here. No Isaiah, rage in peace, wherever you are.
He's down in Disney, man.
That's right.
Getting
Having
buck
the time of his
wild.
life.
Yeah. Did he now? No, but I shouldn't ask this question because clearly neither of you know what's going on. But I was curious if he dealt with the storm at all. I saw some people online who were talking about how awesome Disney was because of the hurricane. They like Disney was.
Oh, I imagine that's great. I didn't even
empty.
consider that.
Yeah, it was basically empty. It was
LA.
the conditions weren't great. Like it was gray and kind of rainy and windy, but obviously Orlando's a little bit away from the hurricane, but it deterred a lot of people from traveling down, I suppose. So there were people that were posting online about how awesome it was to just be running around Disney with no one there.
Nice. I thought you were going to give me crap
maybe he was
for
there.
being a crappy friend and not responding to
No,
the
I just
group
realized
chat,
that when I started that question and then I went, you know what, neither of these guys are going to know. Because they barely knew that he was there. Although, Duval knew. Duval knew that he was in.
Called it out.
He did
Florida.
know he was there. Did your power go out today?
Running around down there. No, not at all.
Power went out twice.
Damn.
Ours went out Sunday and was out for 36 hours.
Good grief.
Wow.
Saturday, it was Saturday night or Sunday. I don't remember which night, but it came back Monday at like 10 a.m.
What did you do for 36 hours? I don't want to know.
Threw food away at the end of it. I'll tell you what happened after.
A little seance.
Oh, wow.
There was a whole lot of nothing going on. I spent a lot of time outside the house.
Oh, okay.
All right.
What do you do for that long? I mean, seriously, like, what are you doing?
Well, it was great that it kind of happened during like the night. It went out at 9:30, 10 p.m.
So you woke
So you
I'm
slept
already
pretty good
like
portion.
getting ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. Go to the pool the next day.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
at the
who
pool
cares?
for 12 hours,
Yeah.
10 hours.
Still got hot water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
you're
Gas.
fine.
I got
Come home,
Yeah.
take a hot shower.
Yeah.
Be all right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Breeze. It wasn't really terrible, but just not having, modern conveniences.
Isn't
Yeah.
the house really quiet when there's no power?
It's eerily quiet, but then
Yeah.
all the generators are running around the neighborhoods.
Yeah. Low hum
Yeah.
across the neighborhood.
About 10, 12 years ago, the power went out for days. I forget whatever storm that was.
Yeah.
And my parents said, all right, we need to get a generator. We're not doing this again. So we went out, bought a generator, and then the power went out maybe a total of an hour over the next 10 years until maybe 2 months ago when my father took the cover off to test it out and realized the fuel tank had rusted through.
Oh, no, bummer.
Damn.
And here we are now. Then the power goes out.
That'll do it. Speaking of storms, I did go check out Twisters.
I was going to ask you
Yes,
that.
Twisters.
How did Glenn Powell do?
He's fine. He's fine. Twisters as a whole is not the best. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not the best. It's a far cry from the original. It doesn't really have any direct connections
To the
to
previous one?
To the previous one, it is more or less
They
kind of
don't
standalone.
make like a Easter egg remark about.
I do think that Bill Paxton's kid makes an appearance at one point, is like an extra or something like that. But there's no I mean, I guess there are some Easter eggs. I guess Dorothy, which is the contraption that holds all of the little sensors.
Yeah.
I think that makes an appearance. I couldn't tell if that was the original Dorothy that they were alluding, like was the original, or if it was just like another version of it that somebody else had built. But
like somebody opens a closet and
it
it's
was
like
very
sitting there.
clearly modeled after, if not the original. If it was not the original, it was clearly modeled after that. So I guess there was like some throwbacks to it, but it really is not a direct sequel in any traditional sense. But, you know, it's fun to see tornadoes on the big screen. That's always exciting.
How was the CGI?
It was okay.
Did they do the classic thing with a cow?
It was okay. No cows.
Callbacks?
No. There was a couple of animal components. You could tell that they were trying to maybe give a little nod to it, but it was never a cow. There was a scene with a chicken. Doesn't have quite the impact. It's also, the cow thing is a legendary, iconic scene. So it's a little hard to recreate. But, you know, I don't know. I'd give it maybe like a 5 or a 6 out of 10.
Oh, that's kind of low. Were you entertained? That's the real.
It's kind of entertaining. It's probably on the better side, if I'm being honest. It's probably on the better side of a 5 out of 10. But it is it's kind of very corny. It's very goofy.
Oh.
It doesn't really ever land on a genre, which I'm finding is a pretty normal thing now in filmmaking. Like the original Twister was kind of a little horror, like it was kind of horror genre-ish, a little adventure kind of film, but it was scary. Like there were moments of like intensity, and it felt like there was a weight to it. And this one is very like, they're all just YouTubers having fun, chasing storms, and they got big Ram trucks, and they're playing every 5 minutes, there's just a country music montage of like these guys just out there having a ball, more or less. And the stakes never feel very high. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so, I don't know. There's something about it that feels a little, a little cheap. Like I couldn't tell. It's like they're trying to make it funny. It's kind of an action film. There is some adventure to it. Never really that scary and like never feels like the stakes are all that high or intense. I don't know. It's just kind of like all of the genres mashed together. They didn't really know whether to make it for kids or to make it for adults. Like it's not violent enough or dramatic enough or serious enough for adults, but it's not corny. It's corny enough for kids, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a mishmash of too many different things happening. I mean, I didn't walk out. I wasn't miserable throughout, but I would say, unless you really have a thing for Twister or Twisters or tornadoes, or
I know
weather movies
Twister
in
was
general,
your jam, so I'm like,
I was a big Twister fan. Yes, went to the ride, Universal Studios, when that was a thing. That was very exciting. But yeah, you know, if you want to see it like on the big screen with like a good sound system, you know, it's fun. It's fun to watch that type of thing in a movie theater, just because it's designed a little bit more for that. I don't know if you're going to get the same experience like on your iPad, you know, watching tornadoes and stuff destroy towns and, you know, whatever, villages. But hey, you know, I'm not trying to knock on them too hard. I do think everybody that was in it did an okay job. Was fine. I don't know. I know everybody was like really worked up over, is it Glenn Powell? Yeah. Everybody's really worked up over the boy.
Oh, I'm not mad at GP. He did a good job in, what's it called? Top Gun.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're saying he's kind of like the new Tom Cruise.
He's the new guy.
Maybe the new guy.
He hasn't given me a home run yet. Like where I'm like, oh yeah.
He just had a big hit on Netflix. It was pretty successful.
Yeah, and he had one with Sydney Sweeney.
Oh yeah. Is that the one where they're in Australia?
I couldn't tell you. They were on SNL promoting it.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you. Josh has got
Anyone But You.
Yeah.
Anyone, yeah.
a bunch of rumors about them actually dating. And I think that was just a work for the movie. But
yeah,
there were a lot of shots that came out of paparazzi shots that came out of the filming of that, probably because of Sydney Sweeney.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
You know, here
AKA
we are.
McGee. I saw Deadpool and Wolverine.
I was gonna say, yeah, you made it out to Deadpool. I've
did.
not seen it yet. Emily wants to go see it. I wanted to go see it. We tried to go see it this past weekend.
Yeah.
But life gets in the way.
It was good. I was more impressed with it than I
Is
anticipated.
it at all overhyped, do you think?
No.
I feel like everybody's very worked up over it. Like
Spoiler.
everybody really feels like it's a true kind of rejuvenation of the Marvel franchise. It's going to course correct.
It is a very on the nose Deadpool Wolverine adaptation buddy cop film. But what it does is it really is a love letter to the past 20 years of Fox and what they did, what they attempted to do with their superhero franchises, X-Men, and so on and so on, and their dissolvement into Disney. And Deadpool's character actually works so perfect with satiring that situation, and what he does throughout the movie to kind of tell the story works perfectly with what he really teeters the line in fiction and nonfiction of what's happening, and uses that to tell a really awesome story. I thought it was done really, really well. Doesn't lean, is a lot of it like on the nose a little too much. Yeah, but the functional parts of it that work really work for MCU fans, for comic book fans in general. If you were just a fan of all superhero movies, what he used Deadpool and Wolverine for really, really, really works.
Okay.
I had a good time. I had a really, really, really good time.
I think it's got like a mid-80s right now.
Yeah.
On Rotten Tomatoes, maybe, give or take.
There was some
that's accurate.
super on the nose, corny moments. I could nitpick, but yeah, I'd give it like a 7.5, 8, and I give it that half to an 8 because of it really fits seamlessly into what Marvel is doing right now, and I can see why they took a year off from putting out films. Like this is what they needed to kind of we're fumbling over our feet. Let's take a break. Let's put out something that's meaningful and is gonna train the audience to follow the story again.
Yeah,
and this does that. So it seamlessly fits into what Disney was trying to do with the whole multiverse thing. And they nailed it here. I can really say I won't say they hit it out of the park. They got about like 410 footer.
Yeah,
hit the second row
Didn't
and
seal the
300
deal,
levels.
though.
It's 78 on Rotten Tomatoes with a
78?
with a 96 audience score.
Oh, that's pretty high. That's pretty high. I feel like Deadpool gets a little inflated.
Yeah.
On the ratings. I feel like the fan base kind of overestimates.
He's a fan favorite.
Yeah.
And
because I thought 1 and 2 were good, but I never felt like I always felt like they were over appreciated in a sense.
Yeah.
Kind of I felt similar about like the Black Panther era.
Yeah.
I thought that was like it was good, but I didn't think it was like,
masterful.
I didn't think it was like masterful. It's not like the best Marvel.
I think it's great.
Movie of all
I think
time.
this is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. I think it's great. And then that's kind of. I think that's it. I think what happens with comic book movies are, we went through, I'd say, almost 20 years of really terrible comic book movies, but we didn't know that they could be better. They could actually be cinema.
Sure.
So then Disney comes along, and in the latter end of the Infinity Saga really starts nailing it home that these can be cinematic, I won't say masterpieces, but these things can really pull at the heartstrings. We can really tell stories.
They can be very successful.
Yes, and we can be successful, and we can really, really knock it out of the park.
Sure.
And we got that from like Winter Soldier on for the most part. And it gets inflated because then it gets compared to, the the terrible stuff from back in the day that we didn't know was bad because we didn't know that it could be better, right? Yeah. So you see this and you're like, oh my God, this is like the Holy Grail compared to Eric Bana's Hulk, Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And that is just terrible. Like, it's just a terrible movie. But at the time, it was like, oh man, this is great. But it's not. So, but then you get Incredible Hulk from Disney, and you're like, oh yeah, this is the Hulk
moving forward,
right? And and now looking back on that 15 years ago, you're like, it was a little better with CGI or whatever, whatever. But yeah, to your point, some of it gets inflated because I think the comic book community that's just who they are. They're just very much they dress up and go to cons like they are. That's who they are. Yeah.
How about the boy coming back? Who? Robert Downey, man. I feel like
that was interesting, man.
That was like the biggest piece of news I feel in the last couple of
what was this,
months, probably.
San Diego Comic-Con was 2 weeks ago, and I think it's a very interesting take. I think it's a very interesting take. We had the whole fiasco with Jonathan Majors. I have my own theories on that, but it looks like they are trying to move away, all right? But we never really know at this point what's true and what's not until we actually see the films, right? They could be saying, RDJ is back and he's going to play Doom, and then he's killed in the first 5 minutes because he's a variant, and we, like there could be all kinds of misleading things. Which I would, hope.
Hard to imagine that would be the case,
right?
Given that they bring him out
again. We just don't know until we see it, and I would think with the Russos coming back, that would be an indicator that they're actually going to lean into using RDJ in a meaningful capacity, given what the MCU has given us in the threads of storytelling. Now we have alternate versions of people. We have variants of people. We have different types of versions of people. So from what they have given us is that RDJ is going to play Victor Von Doom. He's not Tony Stark as Dr. Doom. He's not a variant of Tony. He's going to be Victor Von Doom. And I think that that's awesome because of something that happens in Deadpool and Wolverine to kind of linchpin that storytelling. I don't want to give away any spoilers. I don't know if, I know you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But there's something that happens in that movie that is like, oh, I see. It's the foretelling, like, foreshadowing.
Gotcha.
Like, I see how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for it because by seeing that, I understand what could possibly be coming. So I'll say that, and then if you see Deadpool and Wolverine, we'll double back.
And that's likely why they made the announcement when they did, is what you're thinking?
Exactly.
Yeah, because they kind of had to reveal.
Something had to come out
where we were
to
going.
give the fans an idea of what they're going to do. So I'm excited for it. There's a lot of like theories and crap online, but again, man, I stopped dealing with theories in 2018 when Infinity War came out and the Hulk was in the trailer and he was not in the movie. So
what are you gonna do?
Yeah. So, but again, man, very awesome. And it, the guy to make the MCU, this could be make for great storytelling. It could be the guy to end it. This could be very, could be awesome. We'll see.
We'll find out 2025. Is that right? Or 26? 25?
How?
25? 26, 25?
27?
I think it's 25. I think Doomsday is 25, and I think the next one's 26.
Secret Wars, yeah. That's what I'm really excited for. I want to see how
Josh
they
could confirm. Maybe it's 26, 27.
I thought it was Doomsday is 26, May 1st.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Secret Wars is 27.
So close, but yet so far.
Yeah.
Did you wrap up House of the Dragon?
I did.
HOTD?
I'm kind of disappointed in the ending.
Most were.
It felt like I watched a pep rally.
Well, I've been saying it the whole season. It has felt very much like sad moms.
Yeah, sad moms, sad boys.
A lot of that.
A lot of drug use. a lot of milk of the poppy and rum, but nothing to like. Just a lot of like we got to do this. Like everybody's motivating someone to do something, but nothing like what are we gonna do?
They keep building it up. It's like it does feel as if they're trying to stretch things out a little bit. It's weird because I think Game of Thrones did something similar too. So I don't know that maybe it's just my impatience is getting
what really annoyed
worse as I get older.
Was Taylor.
Do tell.
First things first. I did not realize how close Westeros was to Dragonstone.
Nobody did, really.
That's
shocking, yes.
From here to like Towson Mall. It's like right there.
No, for sure.
And you can ride a dragon and be there in like 10 minutes. Like,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I thought this spanned
a journey.
Days journey or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But clearly not. But we're on opposite ends of this war, right? We've killed children over this. I've killed your child. You've killed one of mine. Of
course.
Right? Whatever. But I keep popping up on you to have conversations about it.
Yeah, no, that's true.
At some point, I'm going to just off you because I got kind of annoyed by that. Like we're supposed to be at war and you just kind of freely we're just kind of freely moving about to kind of come talk to each other secretly.
Yeah, that's honestly it's really not my biggest gripe with the show thus far. I kind of understand the positioning of the two of them because they did kind of grow up as friends. And I think the idea is that neither of them really want this war to actually happen, but they're kind of being forced into a position where they have to be the faces of it. So I kind of get the dualities of all of that. So I the idea of them kind of sneaking in to meet one another, I don't mind that. I would rather see some bigger pieces of the story start to kind of play out.
Yeah.
I feel as if this has been a lot of kind of scheming and planning and orchestrating, and there's been so much of that over the course of the last 2 seasons, and not tons of action's not really the right word, but it does. Like my biggest issue is that as far as I can tell, the only real reason why Rhaenyra hasn't taken the throne is because of Vhagar, this large dragon. Like that's more or less what's preventing her, is what I can tell. But it seems like she has enough dragons and probably had enough dragons even much earlier on to take out this large dragon, right? That large dragon, Vhagar, is sleeping up in the hills most of the day.
He's old.
Most of the time.
He's old. He's big.
The idea that they wouldn't just rally 3 or 4 dragons, cruise over there in the middle of the night and just jump them. Because it seems as if as soon as you smoke out that dragon, it's over. Like that's all they really have.
They're leaning on Vhagar.
100%.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, I guess I'm not super dialed in on all of the different dragons and whatnot, but I assume that they had more dragons. But at the end of this season, it's kind of revealed that it's basically Vhagar and the queen has a dragon, but they're not like that versed in combat. It's a young dragon. It's not super capable. And she's not really all that interested in combat to begin with.
Yeah,
so
she's like, I'm not doing that.
There's all this kind of quarreling, if you will, about not like how much life is going to be lost and having to raise all these armies and all this stuff. And it just feels like to me, the only hurdle
is this one big dragon.
Once that's wiped out, I just don't know how, even if you have other armies, you still have 3 or 4 other dragons.
Because now at this point, Dragonstone has 5 dragons.
More, and even more than what I'm talking about. I mean, earlier on in season 2, they had 3 or 4. I know they lost one, obviously, throughout the course of the season. But
Queen Rhaenyra,
just day 1, right? And like they had plenty. They had enough.
I think they were even. They were kind of even because Aegon had 1, Aemon had 1, now and the Queen had 1, and then Rhaenyra had 1. Daemon had 1.
Sure. So there was maybe another.
Right. And then, so now she doesn't want to ride. They lost Aemon. So now they're just down to Vhagar. So yeah, run up and just jump him, right? Like
It seems like that settles the.
he had
dispute.
a hard enough time with 2 dragons when Rhaenyra and Aemon. He was kind of what's going on, right? All right, you send 4, you might lose 2, you win.
You win though.
You win. Sorry.
And no life is lost.
Yeah.
I mean, other than the dragons, which is unfortunate, but I don't know what matters.
I got more eggs.
What
Clearly.
matters more in this situation?
Yeah.
Dragons or people? I don't know. I guess it's a question for them to figure out. But I don't know. That's me just kind of being nitpicky about it.
Did you enjoy it?
It's a good show. I wasn't miserable with the last episode by any means. It felt like one big long trailer for season 3. But the one thing that I have learned with Game of Thrones over the years is that they're never going to really give you the battle or the conflict or resolution that you're looking for on the timetable that you wanted, right? Like it's always going to be next season. It's always going to be pushed out. It's always going to be one more thing in front of that. I mean, even with like, the big battles in Game of Thrones, a lot of that stuff really was reserved for the kind of the last season. I mean, the big White Walker battle, which is kind of what all of the seasons are kind of elevating towards, right? That was, towards the end. And so I think they announced that House of the Dragon is going to end after season 4.
It should.
It's season 3.
They learned their lesson with Game of Thrones. Like, let's just end it.
So I think again, I don't know that the pacing or the cadence of the show is really going to change all that much. I think they're going to do the same thing. I think they're going to drag it out, continue to drag it out a little bit. It's been obviously very successful for them, but
again, I'm not mad at it. I enjoyed it. Again, I felt like they hyped us up to say, "Oh, we'll see you in a year." That was kind of BS, but I am kind of getting. And
it'll be a few years, by the way, because they don't even start production on it until 25, season 3. So it's going to be 2026 probably at the earliest that you see season 3.
People don't. How are they playing with me?
We talked about this.
They're just banking that I'm going to be alive.
The gaps in between shows is really too much. I don't know what that's about. I don't understand why they wouldn't. I feel like traditionally in the past it's been
see you next season.
While this season is like playing, we're filming the other one.
And we're ready.
This is like the whole, like they're not even starting until 2025.
They're giving them enough time.
What have they been doing for the last 6 months?
They're making sure that they spend all of the money they made before they come back, so they have nothing else to do.
Yeah, I don't know. They did show in the, I don't know if you watched the like teaser trailers on the front end of the finale, but they showed the next Game of Thrones show that's coming out.
There's another one?
They showed some clips from that.
What's that one based on? I didn't watch that. Because I never watch it in real time.
Josh can look it up. It's got a weird name, Duncan and the Egg or something, or it is something like that.
For kids?
No. Oh. It's something like that.
I wouldn't mind an animated Game of Thrones kind of thing. To kind of like a fill in some of the gaps.
Knight of the Seven Kingdoms? Is that what we're talking about? I think
that's what it's called.
Mm-hmm. Well,
maybe. It's based on that book then, I believe.
It's based on the Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Want to use some Apple Intelligence? Let's see if it works.
Dude.
Let's try it. What's the next Game of Thrones adaptation?
Oh, here we go. Tales of Dunk and Egg. Dunk and Egg, yeah.
She still does.
A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is the name of the show. It's based on the book Tales of Dunk and Egg. Yeah.
Got it.
So she got it. She got it.
Dunk and Egg.
You're
Dunk
right. Knight of the Seven Kingdoms.
We're on the same thread here.
Tales of Dunk and Egg.
Yeah. So they showed a couple of shots from that.
The Hedge Knight.
They also showed The Last of Us season 2. They showed a touch of that, a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Get you excited. So there's some things out there cooking. But House of the Dragon is a ways off, dude. You gotta let it go, man. Let it go.
I try, man.
What are your thoughts on this Belle Meade?
I'm surprised. I'm surprised how...
Pass back.
Of course. I'm surprised at how much I enjoy it. For the price. $45.
I have a little bit of a theory that it's better on ice.
You think so?
Maybe. Find out.
I mean, everything is really better on ice.
It's not tremendously like smooth. It does have a little bit more of a
bite.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
It's got that middle shelf bite. But
I think like the ice could taper some of that off. Obviously, little
water.
A little water in the mix might mellow it out just a touch.
What you think,
It's
Josh?
like a good cocktail bourbon, I think.
I don't have any problems with it.
But I don't know that it's...
Yeah, I don't... It could be better, but I don't have any problems with it.
I don't... It is a little bitey, but I don't know if I really mind it.
If this were at the bar and you'll $9 a shot or whatever for a glass, I'd be fine with it. I'd put it like around. I'd put it like around like a bullet, maybe.
Yeah, but Bullet's $30 a bottle.
Yeah, this is $45 a bottle. I don't know.
So if you're going to throw it in the Bullet category, it might not be the best deal.
Buffalo Trace.
I think Buffalo Trace is a touch better than this.
It is. It does. It's a much fuller taste.
I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at it. I'm trying to find like where it lives.
I'm not dunking on it. I don't think that it's an awful price point. It's just not like Buffalo Trace drinks a little easier. It's a little bit.
It has that dry, cheaper,
a little better flavor
draw.
profile to it.
Yeah, that draw that the cheaper bourbons have.
Yeah,
but
it's like trying to get out of that.
Yeah. Like if they had an aged version, it would like a $60 version, which would probably be better. But I'm not mad at it. It's fine.
Yeah. As I said, I stand by it, dude. I think maybe good in a cocktail. It's not bad. Like neat. I'm not like, again, it's fine. But I think it might be a little bit better with a few other things going on in there.
Yeah.
A touch of other.
What else is going on?
Touch of other ingredients, dude.
I'm just happy to be here and talk. We haven't done this in 2 weeks.
Man. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. There's some, what's up?
I was going to say finalist for,
finalist for Baltimore Magazine. That's what it is.
Oh, we did make that.
Didn't even get a notice.
They didn't even send us an invite.
Had to go get the magazine.
That's cool. Thank you to everybody that voted. It was us and the Exit 52. Shout out to our boys over there. Cheers to them. That was cool. So yeah, I don't know how many people voted, but we put it up on the socials, and I encouraged my following to vote, and it looks like, and you did as well, and Isaiah, Josh, it looks like people actually liked us, and we made it to the final 3 of Baltimore Magazine. So it looks
not bad.
Like the city actually appreciates us.
For what it's worth.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. Yeah, I'll take the recognition over the win. I can be bucked.
And the winner's on a radio station that you can barely receive in Baltimore. So
which station is it?
99.5. Where in DC?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I was confused by that piece a little bit.
Yeah, why would they go to DC? Why would they go to like 92Q?
I mean, I guess DCA technically counts, but it felt a little.
What's the one? What's the other one? 105?
Neither here nor there.
What is it? I don't listen to radio.
What are you going for?
The other station, other Baltimore station.
There's a ton of Baltimore stations.
Yeah, I was going to say
I have not listened to the radio in maybe 10 years.
I don't know if there's anything like Hot 99.5 in Baltimore, though. Like 92Q maybe, but 99.5 is like a top 40 station.
My wife is a radio person. She likes to hear like people calling in. I hate it. But apparently now 92Q and 93.9, which is the sister station in DC, are syndicated. So they play the same exact thing.
Sure. It's the future.
It's
the future.
Yep.
Ridiculous. You could just get an app.
Yeah. You could.
You could just get an app.
Some do.
You know
Some do.
Anyway.
What about the boys that are stuck up on the space station? Any thoughts on that? That's a Boeing.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That's a Boeing thing.
That's
We I don't know if we can talk about Boeing issues.
Give me Josh, give me the rundown. I kind of heard it in passing. Not passing, but like.
Space division might be okay.
Well, I mean, is there something new in addition to them just being stuck there?
So they're stuck.
Well, they weren't originally they weren't stuck. It was like we're keeping them there a little longer, just so we can work out some other things.
I don't like that. That's like when you're on the plane.
They were supposed to be up there for a couple of days. I think maybe like a week or something. They were supposed to be there. It wasn't for very long.
No, I don't like that.
And now this has been like a couple of months now. Like
it's been a few weeks. I don't think it's been too long.
They got enough food and stuff. Like.
The International Space Station is like fine. I mean, it is operational.
It's like
but
It's like the Four
The
Seasons. like
intent
it's
was
just-
for them to come back a while ago.
And they're still up there.
And for whatever reason, they're concerned about some of the systems on, I can't remember the name of the craft, but Starliner. There's a couple of systems that apparently did not respond as intended on the way up, and I think they're nervous about how they'll respond on the way down. So
like they could just hit the water.
they've
Like they're
been-
not gonna like
Boeing has been
parachute out.
claiming that they can come home anytime, but yet
Oh, this is Boeing's fault?
and hasn't approved them to come home. And the last press briefing they did, they had revealed that there was potentially conversations with SpaceX to go get them.
Yeah, that looks like the current thing. So they went up June 5th, and they were supposed to be up for I don't know how long. But anyway, on June 28th, NASA said that it was capable of returning them back in
we're gonna
emergency. However, it's not approved to fly until the thruster issues are solved. And now,
Yeah.
SpaceX might get involved next year.
And here goes good old Elon. All your failures lead right back to me. And you wanted me to send my boys up there, go
It's
get
gotta
them.
be, dude. I was texting somebody earlier this week, and I was like, it's gotta be so humiliating for NASA and Boeing to have to call up SpaceX. That's gotta be such a awful call to make.
I know Elon was like, patch him through. He took it on speakerphone throughout the whole building.
Look at this. I don't know. These photos clearly have to come from NASA or maybe SpaceX. I'm not entirely sure. But this, to me, is Apple Vision Pro.
That's
type
not real
photos.
people. They're not in there. They're not in there. Those are not even the people that
This
are
is
up
like
there
the
right now.
persona that you get in
Yeah.
FaceTime.
That's a very odd looking.
That's why you're not airplaying. What happened?
I don't know. I
Very
forgot it was a thing.
Well, we don't.
I
Technical
also don't know where
difficulty.
the remote's out of my reach. It's fine. Whatever.
Far gone.
Technical
Far
difficulties.
gone.
We've
But-
been gone too long.
Yeah, so that's some Boeing fun. I'll be on a Boeing plane next week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
For
right.
at least a portion of your trip.
Well, that's right.
Italy, right?
Just, for the takeoff, yeah.
Rough.
For the takeoff, landing remains to be seen.
Are you getting the Wi-Fi?
Getting Wi-Fi?
Yeah, you gonna
What
pay
do
for
you
the
mean?
Wi-Fi on the plane?
I don't know.
I
Who
think
are you flying?
American Airlines.
They're usually pretty good with the Wi-Fi.
I have no idea.
I like American.
Here's what I've learned. Flying, I've flown American Airlines a few times. I fly Southwest a lot.
Yeah.
But and Josh can correct me if I'm wrong here, but the regional flights or flights that are, I guess, within the United States, if you will, versus flights that are international flights.
oh,
The vibes are very different.
Yeah,
That's
very
my
different.
sense, right? Like the planes are bigger.
Yep.
I feel like the amenities and the seats and everything are like on a little bit of a nicer scale. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
But when you fly
Absolutely.
from like here to Chicago on American Airlines, and
It's
then you go
just-
from here to like, London or something, I think it's a little bit of a different experience.
It has to be, right? Like even
Yeah.
down to the crowd, right?
Maybe we'll find out. So I don't know what the Wi-Fi situation is going to be. I've never flown American internationally, if I'm being honest.
Their
not
website says
internationally.
Wi-Fi is available on almost all routes for as little as $10, which is very, very confusing.
You want my T-Mobile code? Get it for free.
I don't know if I'm going to need it though. You can't really do much with Wi-Fi on a flight.
You can track your flight.
You can do that without Wi-Fi.
I don't need the Wi-Fi for that though.
What can you really do?
You can respond to emails and send text messages.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yep.
Which I think for some is valuable. Or I guess you could browse Facebook or the web, but I don't really know that you can consume much
You can't
content.
play. You can't play your PlayStation
Yeah,
remotely.
correct.
Yeah.
Tell you that
What
for
is the
sure.
bandwidth, Josh? It's
very low.
Probably not great.
It's very
especially
low.
over water.
Yeah.
It's fine over land, probably, but over water, really not great.
Why? Okay, and maybe I'm just asking an ignorant ass question. Why wouldn't the aviation industry invest in satellite connection for their devices to then be able to use Wi-Fi or what?
Well, they do. They do for their stuff.
okay.
So the aircraft is always
Connected.
that was part of the whole Malaysian 370 investigation.
I know,
Like, when did it ping the satellite?
getting
Where
dark.
could it be on
Yeah.
this arc? Well, I mean,
I
it was
ain't talking
dark,
about me.
but it's just expensive. That's really the
Okay.
biggest thing. It's really expensive.
Yeah. All right.
Most aircraft now, I don't want to say most, but a lot of them now, I say it's better over land because a lot of them receive the downlink from the satellite, and the uplink goes to the ground
And then it goes back up.
and then goes to where it needs to go. So it's kind of like satellite internet at your house. You have satellite internet, DirecTV or HughesNet or whatever. You still need a telephone line because your download comes from the satellite. Your upload is just regular dial-up. So over the water, there's no ground for those receiving stations. Everything's got to go up and down through the satellite. Now, Starlink will change that when airlines start adopting Starlink.
Yeah.
Got it.
And we've seen that with cruise lines already. Carnival
Yeah.
Corp upgraded a ton of their ships with Starlink.
Now, mind you, I haven't been on a cruise in maybe 20 years. So
Sure.
And you just recently went on a cruise. How was the Wi-Fi?
I'm going on a cruise in 2.5 weeks.
He stays on cruises, dude.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi was great because that ship had just been upgraded to Starlink.
Okay.
So it was pretty
He
great.
stays cruising.
Cruise boy.
Yeah.
Cruise boy, dude. Cruise king.
Boat boy.
Listen, if I could just be here and on, from a boat, I'd love that. That'd
I
be
saw
great.
what is it? A U.S. Times kind of like thing on X about, and not the porn site, the X Twitter site, about a couple just booked like as many cruises as they could because it was cheaper than
Then rent in some places.
Yeah, they own until retirement home.
I've seen some articles on this.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
and they're like, we'll just live on the boat until, and I'm like, there has to be kind of some kind of stop measure, but I guess you can't really prevent people from doing that.
No, a good friend of mine who is now passed, but was on a boat for 250 days a year, retired, however long ago, and started
drink and travel.
Yeah. And he wasn't even a drinker. So it was really just like seeing everything. And it got to the point where he knew all the crew on all the boats, and he would
Good for him.
they would see his reservation come up and they'd Facebook message him, "Hey, looking forward to seeing you." He knew the people on shore.
Good for him.
Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah. So I don't know. And it does in some cases work out to be cheaper than rent and insurance and your electricity bill and all that shit.
You're on a boat.
Yeah.
I'm on a boat. And I'm going to dock. I'm going to take off my luggage, and I will sit here and wait for the next one.
Yeah, that's right. And he would book them back to back to back and link them so that either he stays on the ship or he left all his luggage if customs required him to get off. It was a walk right back on again.
Good for him.
And you're in the same
Very
room
smart.
for
So
6
you can
months
do
or
it.
9 months.
It is a proven thing that isn't spam that I saw.
Yep.
Awesome.
Can be done, dude.
I ain't
Not you,
mad.
though.
Have we talked since? I think we're in the clear now. I don't know if our YouTube agent would still be listening at this point. I think he's like, he'd be like, he took his headphones off.
We talking about 45?
Yeah. I was gonna talk about 46.
All right.
Dropped out. 46 dropped out.
Yeah, it has been a while, I guess. We
Yeah.
haven't really talked
We
about
haven't
it.
talked about it.
He
Dropped
bowed out, dude.
think-
Bowed out. Oh, I mean, he was forced out, let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
He's got a heavy hand came in. And
Somebody put their hand on his shoulder and said clock out.
yeah, dude. Nancy shut down the funding, bro. She said, no more donations, not on my watch.
That definitely happened to me at the Apple store one time though. I was working, so I had one too many at Fridays. And good old, I won't say her name, put her hand on my shoulder. I was like, just go home.
It's go time, baby.
Just get out of here. I was like, you know what?
No problem.
It was like I was like a dealer at a casino. I was like, you know what? I'm out. But yeah, man, he's gone. Well, he's not gone, but we have not seen him since.
There have been a flurry of conspiracies, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Ever since the
announcement.
ever since the attack on 45.
It's just been
it's been nothing but a cesspool of conspiracies. If I'm being
Craziness.
honest. I'm deep in.
do you want to go to my conspiracy corner? And
Well, we
relieve your-
always go to a little conspiracy corner. We'll touch briefly on 46
All right, you
and
play the
the
music.
oddest. I don't even know. Let's see if this works. What I don't remember which one I tapped.
That one. There we go. There we go. All right, welcome to Courtney's Conspiracy Corner. Here we go.
Boom. All right, dude. So,
That music is terrible.
It's great that you like, boo-doo, boo, boo-doo.
It's pretty solid. Though.
It is pretty
solid.
It's so bad that it's great.
So 46. I don't know if you've been tracking at all the conspiracy around his body double and having swapped him out.
I've seen that.
Yeah, the different videos of him being significantly different heights.
Yeah, the height one was crazy.
And that does fully check out.
It really,
in my
to go
opinion,
from like, he's not really I'd say he's 5'10", 5'11".
Something's not right. I'm not saying the body swap thing is 100% legit, but
6 foot.
Okay, that checks out.
He's got something happened to his shoes.
The video I saw was this version or this whatever of him was at least 6'5".
It was like Slender Man coming down.
I saw the video.
The walkway.
And a fast walk. He doesn't walk that fast.
So that's certainly
really spooky.
Certainly an odd thing. But TBD. Probably never know. The pullout that he had from the race was very odd. He had obviously a letter written, drafted up, and posted to X, which did not include his actual signature, and it was not on presidential letterhead, I don't believe. So those things were a touch odd, right?
Remember that episode of Veep? Where she accidentally signed her name.
On the card. on whoever's on the death card. And they sent Gary in to get it with the red coat. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about, guys. This is what I'm talking about.
So bad. It's just been a snowball of just nonsense that just doesn't add up.
He really hadn't been seen very much, if at all, around that time, which was also a touch odd. Like, if you're going to step out of the race, it seems like the type of thing that would be done a little bit more officially and a little bit more transparently on 46's behalf. He kind of seemed to just kind of phone it in, more or less. So that's obviously.
I hope he's
weird.
well. Let's start there. I don't want to wish anything on anybody. Sure. I hope he's well. But this seems a very, conspiracy corner.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Kind of weird.
There was rumors that there was a significant health crisis and emergency that took place with him while he was at, I think he was in Las Vegas or something, maybe Arizona, Phoenix, something like that.
They had to remove him from
He was in one of these places, and he was, according to the rumors, he was rushed back to Johns Hopkins.
All the way from Vegas?
Yeah, it was like an emergency thing. They the rumor is that they had pulled him like very underground, very secretively. They kind of scooped him up and they rushed him back to Johns Hopkins, and that there were like different teams of like medical professional and stuff on both sides of this like flight that were pretty involved in his situation. Wow. That's where a lot of the reporting came from. There were even some reports that he had died on Air Force One, that he did not like survive the flight. And that's where some of the body double stuff came from. But they were saying he had COVID. That was announced at one point. But anyway, carry on.
Yeah, no, I was going to say his official schedule had him in Vegas until the 17th of Wednesday, the 17th.
Yes.
And then the next day, it says Biden Beach House, Rehoboth Beach, for the next 2, 4, 5 days. Mm-hmm. Return to the White House on the 23rd.
Yes, but so
sure. What happened during that period?
Yeah, so apparently that did not happen quite like that. There are people from, like, again, obviously this is, I think, unconfirmed. There are people that were a part of like the ground transportation of all this, that were involved in like the EMT side, police escort, stuff like that. That's where a lot of this information came out, because it was obviously very buttoned up, but people were like more or less saying we were brought in to escort a body, more or less.
Oh, wow.
From Air Force One to Johns Hopkins. Now, I don't think that Joe Biden is necessarily dead by any means. I think he's probably alive, but something maybe more serious.
The rational me is like, he's fine.
Sure.
But
so
we are at Courtney's conspiracy corner.
That's the conspiracies. Those are the latest conspiracies as it relates to 46.
Yeah. Again, man, we hope he's well and nothing crazy happened, but
And he's been out of he's been
out of the light, man. We haven't seen him.
He's been out of the light. He had his little, I guess, farewell address that did eventually happen with his family in the room and all that. Like that did eventually take place. But yeah,
good old Veep is rocking and rolling. $35 million yesterday. They are cutting the check.
That's right.
They want her and my man. Was it TW?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tim Watts. Yeah.
TW.
Any boy?
I'll ask some questions about him off air because I saw some things that were rather comical, but I don't have context so I want to be sure about what I'm talking about. So I'll talk to you guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he looks very excited. He looks like he's ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
And
he's out of his depth a little bit. I'm not saying, first of all, let me back up. He's out of his depth, I think, like personally in his life. I don't know that I feel like he kind of got catapulted into this like role all of a sudden.
Snatched up.
Like, yes.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's not capable or like equipped, like professionally speaking. I mean, he's,
as we say
a politician,
in the,
but he just seems like he just kind of like got thrown on stage and he's just
he's just rocking with
he's
it.
finding his legs.
Yeah. Well, as we say in the genius world, failing up.
Yeah. More or less. To a degree. Yes. Of course.
Good for them, man.
Promoted to customer.
All we want is some healthy competition, man, and no pun, but we just want some good old, options.
Sure.
Some good options.
Yeah.
And,
how you feeling about Kamala? Officer Harris.
That's what I call her.
How you feeling about her?
It's
yay, nay?
I think it's very layered.
Choose your words.
Right? And I'm really looking for them. I think from God damn. Okay. You can look at it from one side, right? You can look at the policies and what she did as her job in the 90s, and you can villainize her. You can look at the things that she's done as from that point on to get where she is and see how she has, interacted in these many positions and been the catalyst for many other positive things. I also look at it from, being a black man. I'm very happy for the representation, and this means a lot. This means a lot. The very first Asian, half black. No, I won't say half, but Asian. Like she's Southeast Asia.
I thought she was Indian.
Southeast Asia,
I'm Indian, on it.
Right? I believe it's Indian. I thought it was Indian. Anyway, carry on.
Right? I won't say half. I'll say partial Indian, half, black. Right? That means a lot, right? So
it is India.
India.
There we go.
Oh, come on out. So that means a lot, and all we can really hope for is that when someone that goes into this type of position has the best interest of the people in mind, right? Like,
sure,
you just want someone that can go in and do the job right. That's really all we can hope for. And I mean, she's been there, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying?
All right. There it is.
I don't have anything negative to say about her in this regard. Like, she looks like she's doing the best job that she knows how to do right now, and that's all you can ask from someone that you want to do the job.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Other people that we have seen in the past year have been looking a little shady in the light. Like, there's a lot of stuff you can pick apart. Right now, with her and this opportunity, I can't say that there's things I can poke holes in. I'm just kind of like, okay, all right, we'll see. Let's do it.
All right.
That's my take on that.
There it is.
I don't really know much about her running mate, but he looks very happy to be where he is.
Yes, he does.
I think he's stoked.
Yeah, he's stoked,
he's ready
bro.
to go.
Like, let's go, bro.
Fully stoked.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes. 45 pulled out of the debate.
I don't know that that's accurate. I could be wrong. I don't actually know that he's allowed to.
Yeah,
I think
that's
he-
kind of.
I think the next.
I think he can. I think he can do whatever he wants. Yeah, I
No,
don't think
that's-
you have.
We
to
are talking
debate.
about an assassination
But I
victim.
do think that
He is
I do think that the next debate
survivor. I'm sorry.
is not like
Yeah.
an elective one necessarily. Like the one that he did with
okay.
Joe Biden was an elected debate. Whereas I believe the next one that is scheduled, the one in September, is I think necessary for like I think it's
for the public, right? Like for
I
the,
don't think there's any body that
I
requires
don't know that
a
they would
debate.
have to force you to do it, but I think it's the only one that's like customary. You know what I'm
got you.
saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
Ceremonially
Okay.
speaking,
Sure,
I think
sure,
it's like
sure,
the
sure.
official one. I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like you don't have to do it, but it's like
Yeah.
it's in good nature if you do because you're here to
Yeah.
represent your half of the nomination.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when this is going to take place here.
I thought it was September.
8 hours ago, USA Today said the debate is to be announced fairly soon.
Oh, so I don't know. You can do a little
The
research. on this and
September
find out.
one, he did kaputs.
I think there's another
Shut that
debate
down.
happening though.
Okay. All right.
I think they're scheduling another one. Is what I'm
Well,
saying.
yes. Yes.
Nobody gonna tell 45 what he can do or what he can't do.
Quote, we'll be debating her. Oh, I got to pop up. Freaking
You're not on
advertisers.
Brave, man.
We'll be debating her, I guess, in the pretty near future, Trump said during
Yeah.
a half-hour interview on Fox News. It's going to be announced fairly soon, but we'll be debating her. That was today?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I felt
That
like I
was
read something
today at
earlier
noon.
that they were gonna like push up the debate. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I just like that the people now have good representation. That's all, and we'll see what happens.
I want to know who Harris campaign spokesperson James Singer said Trump is, quote, afraid to debate and has good reason to be given his bogus attacks on Democrats during the Fox News interview.
Oh, yeah.
He continues, quote, on Fox News this morning, criminal Donald Trump rambled, lied, and offered America nothing but chaos, hate, and anger. I love that.
I think they are right. They're in the huddle right now. Like, all right, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna do it? We didn't expect this,
It's gonna be a weird few months.
right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, we were gunning for 40, 46, and now he's on. They took him out of the game. He's on the bench, and they put in the young, the sophomore with the fresh legs off the bench. Scored 10 points, easy. How are we gonna play defense on this? So This is probably the best. And what I really hate is every election, every person that's trying to rally people to vote, they say, this is the
The one that matters.
this is the one that matters. Like, don't say
Every
that.
election is that
It
way.
all they all matter, but don't tell me like this one matters more than the last one. Like, I get it, bro.
Yeah.
Just we're gonna vote. We're gonna go out there, but it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna say voting doesn't matter because voting absolutely matters. But you saying that this is the one that it's gonna matter.
Sure.
Wait, that you don't do that.
Yeah, the world will.
The world will continue.
continue forward.
In a good way or a bad way, it will continue.
Yeah,
So
very true. All right, that brings us to an hour. That
that's
closes
it.
us out.
That's it. That's
We're good.
it.
I think we can wrap it up. We spoke about this bourbon, shared our thoughts,
Thumbs up.
and we did the conspiracy corner. So I
I'm
think we
not
can
mad at it. It could be better, but I'm not mad at it. Like it's
be mad, man.
it's okay. I don't want to be mad.
Let your anger out.
All right. See you guys next week.